Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled amidst rolling hills and thick forests, there lived a sweet young girl named Little Red Riding Hood. She was known for her kind heart, her rosy cheeks, and of course her vibrant red hood that she wore everywhere she went. One day Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her and said, "My dear, your grandmother isn't feeling well. Would you be a dear and take her this basket of goodies? She lives on the other side of the forest, so please be careful and stay on the path." Little Red Riding Hood happily agreed, taking the basket filled with freshly baked bread, fruits, and a jar of honey. She tied her red hood securely around her head and set off into the forest, humming a merry tune as she went. As she strolled along the winding path, enjoying the beauty of nature around her, Little Red Riding Hood encountered a sly, cunning wolf. The wolf, with his sharp teeth and gleaming eyes, approached her with a friendly smile. "Good day, Little Red Riding Hood," the wolf said in a smooth, charming voice. "Where are you off to on this fine morning?" "I'm off to visit my grandmother," replied Little Red Riding Hood, unaware of the wolf's intentions. "She's feeling unwell, so I'm bringing her some treats." "How thoughtful of you," said the wolf, his eyes narrowing with hunger. "And where does your grandmother live, my dear?" "She lives just beyond the forest, in a cozy little cottage," answered Little Red Riding Hood, pointing in the direction. The cunning wolf grinned wickedly, formulating a plan in his mind. "Why don't you take the scenic route through the forest, my dear?" he suggested. "The path is much more enjoyable, and you might even come across some lovely flowers to pick for your grandmother." Innocently, Little Red Riding Hood agreed, unaware of the danger lurking ahead. She wandered deeper into the forest, picking wildflowers and admiring the beauty around her. Meanwhile, the wolf, taking a shortcut, arrived at the grandmother's cottage well before Little Red Riding Hood. With a devious smirk, the wolf knocked on the door, pretending to be Little Red Riding Hood. "Who is it?" called out the grandmother from inside. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood," the wolf replied, disguising his voice to sound like the girl. Delighted at the thought of her granddaughter's visit, the grandmother opened the door without hesitation. But to her horror, she found herself face to face with the cunning wolf, who leapt inside and gobbled her up in one swift motion. Dressed in the grandmother's nightcap and shawl, the wolf lay in wait for Little Red Riding Hood to arrive. When she finally reached the cottage, the wolf greeted her with a sinister smile, pretending to be her beloved grandmother. "Come closer, my dear," said the wolf, his voice strangely deep. "I've been eagerly awaiting your arrival." Little Red Riding Hood, trusting and unsuspecting, approached the bed. But as she drew near, she noticed something peculiar about her grandmother's appearance. "Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have!" exclaimed Little Red Riding Hood, peering closer. "All the better to hear you with, my dear," replied the wolf, licking his lips in anticipation. "And grandmother, what big eyes you have!" she continued, growing more suspicious by the moment. "All the better to see you with, my dear," the wolf replied, inching closer with each word. Finally, Little Red Riding Hood realized the truth and gasped in horror. With a swift movement, she grabbed a nearby axe and bravely fought off the wolf, rescuing her grandmother from his belly. Together, Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother chased the wolf away, never to be seen again. They locked their cottage tight and vowed never to stray from the path again, for they knew that danger lurked in the depths of the forest. And so, Little Red Riding Hood learned a valuable lesson about trust, caution, and the importance of staying true to one's path, as she lived happily ever after with her beloved grandmother, safe and sound in their cozy cottage in the woods. This is the end of the story. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.